Let me ask you a question. How many doctors and lawyers really want to end up in federal prison? Hi, my name's Kyle. I'm a federal prison consultant that was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison for securities fraud, wire fraud, and violating the terms of my supervised release. If you or a loved one's facing federal prison or in federal prison, please visit federalprisontips.com for more information. So I really want to know, Mr. Know-It-All, how many doctors and lawyers say, I want to go through 4 years extra of school and I want to get a license and I want to practice medicine or practice law, but then you know what? I ultimately want to spend some time in federal prison. I'll give you a hint if you come real close to the TikTok. No one! I can assure you, not one doctor, not one lawyer says, hey, I want to go to federal prison and that's why I'm going to law school or medical school. What happens? The simple question to what happens is greed, but it's not that simple. You need to make a decision with your ego. Do you want to be a liar right now or do you want to be a loser? Do you want to be somebody that's bankrupt and lost all the money or do you want to be a liar and put it off? And you know what? Even though you're probably saying, I'm not a liar, I'm Mr. Great Guy, I have nothing more to do in my life than watch these TikToks that this guy from prison does. Here's a shocker. Most people in America would rather be a liar than be confronted with losing their money or doing something wrong to people. People like to be liked, and if a lie is going to prop up being liked, that's what happens. And that's what happens to a lot of doctors and lawyers. Do you think that any of the doctors in the opioid crisis wanted to go to prison, wanted to sell their prescriptions for all this? No. Factually, all, not some, all of the doctors that I did time with at Butner, Forest City, and FPC Montgomery who had been pill mills were in their 60s. That meant that they were actually good doctors until a certain time in their life. But the Sackler family made it so damn easy to get so much more money. But then a loophole in Florida, when they didn't have a database in the early 2000s of people that were getting opioids, made it even easier to write these prescriptions. But I assure you, no one went to Harvard Medical School and said, you know what? I want to go to federal prison. No one went to Duke Law and said, you know what? I want to go to federal prison. Yes, jackass, this can happen to anybody. And before I get done with this rant, did you realize that a lot of office managers and accountants for these doctors and lawyers also end up in federal prison? Because again, it's easier to be a liar than to tell the truth and face the music. So then what happens is the FBI or the DEA comes in and they talk to the target doctor and the target doctor gives up the receptionist, the office manager, the accountant. All these people end up in federal prison and all they were doing was what they were supposed to do. You're going to say, yeah, they should have told on somebody. Have you ever yourself been in that position? Are you going to tell on somebody when they're paying you, when they're the livelihood for your food, they're the livelihood so that your kids can go to school? No. So get off your goddamn high horse. One last thing. There's over 70 million felons in the United States. This is a real number. It's actually 77 million felons in the United States of America. There's 425 million people, according to the 2020 census, in America. That means that 25% of all people in America have a felony. So there's a good chance that your babysitter, your best friend, the guy from the Rotary Club, or your pastor has a felony in their past. So please come off your high horse. And please, if you're looking for a federal prison consultant or for more information, visit federalprisontips.com. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend.